Front row MMA here at FCC6 with the new FCC Flyweight Champion, Mike Berry. Mike, you know, the two of you have a combined 17 amateur fights. You have 6, he had 11. Did that play on your mind at all when you were coming into this?
No, not really. Obviously I train as hard as I can, you know. Records, like the old saying is, records are for DJs really, aren't they, you know. You see guys in the UFC which are like 5-0, 5-1, and they're beating guys that are like 12-0 and stuff, you know, like really, really good top opponents. So records don't mean nothing. As long as I've got a good training partners, good coaches, people that'll look after me, I'll do well.
It was a really tight guillotine to finish. You know, he looked like he'd suffered a little bit because of it. Is that one of your? Is that
It wasn't the guillotine that did it. It was the body kick. I threw a 1-2 switch body kick and it caught him. And then when he hit him with the right hand.
There's always somebody come along to ruin these interviews. Like God knows.
It's good because it's a new Bellator champ anyway, Rob Sinclair. Yeah. So he's a good training partner of mine. Beats me up all the time, so that gets me ready. I'm
just wondering how he manages to beat you up with those tiny, short, little arms of his.
Because he hits like a truck.
You know, we heard you talking to your opponent and the coach afterwards, and you were saying you're thinking about a move up to pro. Is that in the cards for the near future?
Well, this was supposed to be my pro debut. I've had a little bit of time off. Me and my coaches have spoken. This is where I want to be. I do want to fight. Although obviously the nerves and so on, and my missus will laugh at this interview. But I do eventually obviously want to be pro, and I want to make it a long, sort of be in it for the long haul basically. But complications happened and we didn't end up, so Adam Tay rang me and rang my coach and said, can we put it on for the amateur belt and so on, and I was like, you know what, it's good because it'll get rid of technically ring rust.
Yep.
I'll get rid of that and then I can start moving.
Well, ring rust didn't look to be an issue. Your striking was crisp and clean, and you had a bit of a size advantage that you more than happily exploited. How many more amateur fights? Did you want to defend that a few times, or is that up to the coach?
I'll have to speak to my coach and see what he says. I'm happy to defend it, but pro would be my main goal because I want to go. I want to be eventually in the UFC or Bellator along with my teammate Rob.
You've got a hefty camp behind you, and you've got some fantastic trainers. Does that add pressure to you when you perform, or is it all about a performance and not necessarily a win?
I put too much pressure on myself all the time in the gym. I'm running all the time. I'm conditioning all the time. Just every day I'm in the gym, no matter what. So I put a lot of pressure on myself. But yeah, I understand what you mean when there's like Rob, who's a the Bama lightweight champ. But because he's got all that, it probably puts pressure on the other camps that are fighting us because they know that we have got a good camp behind us. So I'd probably say that.
It was a phenomenal performance, a second round stoppage, a very clinical first round. Is there anybody you want to give a shout out to, any sponsors or anybody you'd like to thank, other than Rob Sinclair? Because I'm sick of hearing his name.
Obviously I want to thank Rob, Gav, my coaches. I want to thank Jarek and Ava at TSC, which they do all this for me. Awesome. Coner just walking past as well, I thank him for a really tough fight, and I appreciate everything, you know, just everything. My missus for being there for me, carrying my baby and all that stuff. Just the usual, you know, but especially my sponsors, because they look after me a lot.
Well, it appears to me you're in the right weight class for a very quick rise, because the flyweight division, even globally, isn't stacked. How long before you want to step onto a bigger stage? As in,
I'm not rushing anything. A couple of years will do me. I just want to take things nice and slow, especially the way I've done now, because I've been training now for like nearly 5 years. Yeah, technically people will be like, well, why are you still amateur? I have injuries, people pulling out, so on. So that's kept me behind a little bit.
And surely amateurs, where you hone your craft, you don't want to get the losses so much in the pro ranks.
Exactly, yeah. And flyweight's a new weight class coming up in the pro ranking, so I want to start off slow and build myself up.
It was a phenomenal performance, a great win, and we look forward to seeing you fight again. Thank you so much. Thank you.